Hello and welcome to this lecture on environmental importance of land and sustainability. Land, as we all know, is that part of the Earth's surface that is not covered by water. Constituting 29% of the Earth's surface, land is the indispensable foundation of natural ecosystems, economies, social systems, and human culture with massive environmental implications. The vastness of the Earth's land masses and their existence across varied geographies, altitudes, climatic conditions, and river systems result in their ability to support a wide range of environments. Of foremost importance is the role of forests that these land masses support in fixing atmospheric carbon into the ground, a process called carbon sequestration. This carbon sequestration plays an important role in reducing the severity of climate change, which is the most severe existential risk faced by humans today. The planet's vast land masses are host to large standing tracts of forests, including the Amazon rainforests, which contain astonishingly complex ecosystems and high biodiversity. Given the threat posed by climate change to the planet's rich biodiversity, effective forest land management will be crucial in the coming decades to preserve the richness of life on this planet. In the Indian subcontinent, the snow-capped peaks of the Himalayas and their vast glaciers play an important role in maintaining perennial flow in the massive Ganga, Brahmaputra, Indus, and Yamuna river systems. The waters of these glacier-fed massive rivers sustain the daily needs of hundreds of millions of people across India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, and hold a deep religious significance for people who perform various religious rites. The Western Ghats play an important role in blocking rain-bearing clouds of the southwest monsoon, resulting in heavy rainfall along the coast. This abundance of moisture results in vast tracts of evergreen forests and high levels of biodiversity. Vast tracts of land, often cordoned off as national parks and sanctuaries, are crucial for large animals such as elephants, tigers, and lions to flourish. These tracts give such animals much needed freedom to roam and thrive in an otherwise very anthropocentric world, which has understood land primarily as a resource to be used for the benefit of humans. The conversion of large tracts of forest land for agriculture, livestock farming, industrial infrastructure, and residential complexes poses continuous threats to India's rich wildlife. Forests play a vital role in reducing the frequency and severity of floods by absorbing vast amounts of rainfall and reducing its speed, which also supports groundwater recharge by encouraging the percolation of water. Forest ecosystems are also a significant source of timber, tubers, bamboo, honey, hay, medicines, and meat to the surrounding communities whose very survival depends on these forest products. It is no surprise that the cultures of these communities emphasize a deep respect for land by way of various rituals. In India, there is the fascinating phenomenon of a sacred grove, wherein small patches of forested land are protected by local communities with deep and unshakable beliefs regarding the existence of forest deities and guardian gods who protect the sacred groves. Thousands of such groves exist across the length and breadth of the country and provide evidence of the deep intertwining of spirit with nature. Sacred groves serve as a haven for rare species of plants and animals, and the biodiversity of even small patches of sacred groves is often remarkably high. Coastal land parcels support unique environments such as mangroves and wetlands that are also havens for rare plants and animals. They also play an indispensable role in absorbing coastal storm surges and prevent densely populated cities from suffering the full force of these natural disasters. Cities such as Mumbai have vibrant environmental movements that have zealously guarded and replanted the city's mangroves after realizing the tremendous ecological and disaster prevention value of these ecosystems. A disturbing and undesirable use of land is the dumping of increasing amounts of unsegregated household and industrial waste onto large land parcels, effectively destroying their ability to support both human and animal life. Even more worrisome is the permanent burial of large amounts of waste in landfills, which results in deep and permanent contamination of land parcels and raises profound ethical and moral questions. Land is also severely polluted by the dumping of certain kinds of waste, such as coal ash, which results from the large scale combustion of coal in thermal power plants. Large tracts of land are also adversely and permanently affected by massive mining operations such as open cast mining, in which the topsoil is excavated and permanently displaced as giant corporations dig for coal. Due to inadequate restoration processes, the mined land is incapable of being cultivated, is unstable and prone to landslides and cave ins. Underground mining, another type of mining, involves digging several kilometers beneath the land surface and massive extraction of coal and other minerals. Such mines often become vulnerable to the risk of underground fires, which continue to rage for years in heavily mined areas such as Jharia in Jharkhand. The massive amounts of water often used to wash and chemically treat the minerals extracted out of mines is usually dumped in huge ponds called tailing ponds. Leaks in such tailing ponds result in massive release of chemicals and contaminated water onto adjoining lands, which permanently contaminates it. Given all the aforementioned benefits conferred by land and the risks suffered by it, sustainable land management becomes extremely important in order to maximize the benefits and to minimize the risks. Let's first understand what is meant by sustainability. Sustainability can be understood as the avoidance of the depletion of natural resources in order to maintain an ecological balance. The paradigm of development that has developed around this notion of sustainability is known as sustainable development, defined as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Thus, sustainable land management can be understood as the use of land resources, including soils, water, animals, and plants for the production of goods to meet changing human needs, while simultaneously ensuring the long term productive potential of these resources and the maintenance of their environmental functions. It involves adopting practices and technologies that maintain or enhance the productive capacity of land while protecting and improving its natural resources such as soil, water, and biodiversity. Sustainable land management is based on four principles: targeted policy and institutional support, including the development of incentive mechanisms for SLM adoption and income generation at the local level, land user driven and participatory approaches, the integrated use of natural resources on farms and at the ecosystem scale, and multi level, multi stakeholder involvement and partnerships at all levels, land users, technical experts, and policymakers. Sustainable land management encompasses a vast range of initiatives such as soil conservation, sustainable agriculture, sustainable grazing, sustainable timber harvesting practices, afforestation, biodiversity conservation, water resource management, and restoration of contaminated lands. It also involves the development and monitoring of a vast range of land quality indicators such as nutrient balance, yield trends, and yield caps, land use intensity, land use diversity, land cover, etc. Initiatives such as conservation tillage, agroforestry, integrated pest management, sustainable livestock management, terracing, and crop diversification are essential in order to prevent soil erosion and land degradation of India's fertile land. Sustainable land management is crucial to maximize the carbon fixation, climate regulation, wildlife conservation, and natural disaster prevention benefits of land, while minimizing the risks from deforestation, unregulated exploitation of forests, dumping of waste, and uncontrolled mining. Sustainable land management is especially important in a country like India with 17% of the world's population, 2.5% of its land resources, and a per capita GDP of $2,500, which results in tremendous developmental pressures on land resources, especially on 21% of the country's area, which is currently under forests. India's rapidly growing economy and the recent pivot to heavy manufacturing has resulted in a huge demand for critical minerals such as coal, iron, bauxite, copper, etc. This demand has to be satisfied even as India attempts to increase its current forest cover to the UN's preferred range of one-third of the country's total area. Sustainable land management can help. The existential threat posed by climate change and the growing carbon credit market around the world is presenting new opportunities for farmers to practice sustainable agriculture and sustainable land management practices in order to reduce carbon inputs into agriculture. fix greater amounts of carbon through practices such as conservation tillage, and to generate carbon credits which can be sold for profit in the international carbon market. To summarize, land is a critical resource with enormous environmental implications. Progressive measures such as sustainable land management are essential for a fast developing populous country such as India to meet its sustainable development and net zero goals in an increasingly climate constrained world in which carbon markets and carbon credits have emerged as an unprecedented opportunity. Thank you.